Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Positive Monday. Today we have Jason to share with us 5 things you must know to build your success in BUC closing. And I will pass the time to Jason. Jason.
Thank you, Yiming. Good afternoon. Should I say afternoon good to everyone? Welcome to Positive Monday once again. Well, today I will be sharing with you 5 things you must know how to build your success in the BUC closing. All right. I started off with my project sales like 5 to 7 years ago, and I still recall myself on the first project that I did, which is the North Park Residence. So if many of you actually do remember, North Park Residence was in Yishun, and the prices back then when they started to market this was almost 1,004 PSF. So a lot of people will be wondering, will they sell out this project? Fair enough, within 1 year, the whole project was fully sold. Is there a lot of success from there that I learned? Definitely there will be. Is it very rewarding? Unfortunately, I do not see myself back then earning as much. Why is that so? So today I will be sharing with you the 5 Ps, the disciplines that we must go through and observe at all time. So I was reflecting myself back then, if I could actually have this discipline, 5 pillars that I work with, I will be more successful. For this sharing, I hope that at the end of the day, this training outline itself will be, touching on the CMA with the 5 Ps principle that I just mentioned to you, and of course the social media platform that has rise to top of the game apparently 5 years as compared to currently, and then the auto website that we can have, where Orange Tea has also branded part of it so that we can leverage on the auto website that we have, and the EDM we can have this electronics mailers. Lastly, the financial calculation and solutions. Okay, let's dive in straight to the CMA with the 5 Ps. What does that actually mean? So CMA to me is a constant mindful analysis. What does that mean? So for the first P that we'll be talking about, we must build our curiosity. So first thing, like Albert Einstein, I have no special talent, but only passionately curious. So what are we curious about? So the first P that we need to know is your per square foot. So when you are doing your project itself, the most important key thing, first P that we always need to know is the PSF. So what does this PSF gradually mention to? We have to keep curiosity at all time to find out what sort of PSF will developer be launching on the development itself. So what we do, mainly we do extractions of the data from the H block. So like land sales, where you can see on my screen itself is actually a momentum that was on block in 2017. All right, if you notice at the highest bid back then, and then the break-even point, we are looking at about 1,482 square feet. All right, and right now, if you look at key residence itself, back then the highest bid was 932, and the break-even is 1,340. So, and key residence is already out in the market selling. Okay, but how are they faring? Later we will take a look as well. So the next thing that we have is the Park Clementi's, which is already selling back then. So we have sold mainly more than 60 to 70% at this presently. And look at the break-even point is 1,343 back in 2018. Okay, so Clervon, who is really performing recently, they just launched and they are very quiet about their prices, and they didn't really release out the prices out there. But in general scale right now, in terms of Clervon, they are selling on the average of 1,650. Okay, so the data that I can draw upon is your plug charities and key residence, one versus freehold versus 99 years leasehold. Okay, but you take note of that when the land itself was acquired, their prices on the break-even cost is relatively very close gap. Okay, now on the average price they are selling is 1779 PSF for key residents, and your Park Clementi's on the average is 1643. So there's a difference of 110 PSF. All right, and look at that. So when we marginalize everything, we are able to see clearly the break-even cost, the average selling price, and the developer margin out there. So typically, if you notice that Park Clementi's or Clairvaughn, if let's say on the average selling price of currently, they are on the margin of 23%. Whereas for key residents, if you just now observe the 1779 PSF, their developer margin now has gone up to about 32%. So what does that actually equates to? It means tendency that the buyer who went in may have a lesser capital appreciation to make as compared to right now, if you're talking about Park Clementi's or Clairvaughn, if they're going in at this kind of price. But if you look at a momentum, especially right now, so the break-even cost was elaborated as 1,482, but that was bidded on the land 2017. Sadly to say, they are not able to do the price trend settle because in 2018, 2019, they are not able to sell this whole development. But the good news is they are launching it next year and doing the preview very soon. So meaning the prices has already set foot for them, where if you are going to price above key residents itself, likelihood you may see a lot of challenges. So that will probably put them in a comfort zone that they will be taking reference from Park Clementi's or Clairvaughn. And that's a good news for all your buyers out there. Even though their bidded break-even cost is higher, it tends to have a slightly lower margin for the developer. And this is what we should be looking at. So to educate our buyers out there to aim a property from here, Normanton Park. All right. So look at the current state, which is the present. You know, when we have the November 13, 2020, one of the site, Tanah Merah Kecil, was, tendered, and we formulated that from the H prop itself, the break-even cost is 1,512. Can you imagine now in 2020, the break-even cost for them is already 2,005. So this price will equate to more than your 1,009 PSF is going to be. All right. So for that, we also have to address the next P. All right. The second P that we must be aware of is actually a potential growth. Okay. What does that mean in general? Is that we need to know what sort of transformations are taking place or the events that you are going to market. So we can always highlight those data from the URA master plans, or maybe like a shout out by the channel news station, Straits Time. A lot of focus are there. So perhaps this is one of the URA master plan. Mindfully, you can always compare from your 2014 to 2019. What are the difference and what are the changes that has made? So this is taking reference from the master plan to give you a more product knowledge as well as in the growth story. Okay, and the Greater Southern Waterfront is one of them. The urban transformation that will also put in a lot of potential growth. And of course, recently we just our members, our teammates has been sharing this Greater One North. So these are all the growth story that we can formulate together so that you can be more knowledgeable, so that equate yourself with the best knowledge you can highlight to your clients on that. So the second P that I like to stress on is your potential growth. Okay, and then let's move on to the next P. Okay, the P is known as your product identifications. Okay, what does that mean on the product identifications? I have seen many of agents when they are doing launches itself. One particular segment that they are not very into it is to dive into the unit type, or even the best facing, or we call that a best buy. So because they are lead by the buyers, so can I get the price of this, that, and all over the place, because the agents are not fully control of the whole situation or environment. But if you are in control, you will influence the buyer on the unit type or the stacks that you want them to buy, because you know what is best for them. All right. So when you identify the best buy for any of the investor, we always will go low floor to the higher floor onwards. And if you're talking to your own stay buyer itself, normally we will suggest on a high floor to a lower floor units. So in a nutshell, we are summarizing it as a low entry price, typically depending on who you are serving. All right. In this case, that's where I mentioned we have to be very mindful about that. A lot of times the buyers are leading the agents, rather than agents are leading the buyers to commit to the right unit out there. Okay. So at the same time, Orange Tea has done the utmost effort. Constantly, you will see that blasting through our emails, and you notice that the IC or even the RPD painstakingly highlighting, the best buy from the 1 bedroom all the way to the 5 bedroom. And if you look closely to all the prices that was highlighted, they go by the lowest PSF to the highest PSF, and this is where we can take notice, leverage on that to show it to your clients. And then when you study a bit on this itself, you will be putting up more curiosity to find out, oh, why is it priced in that manner. So in that case itself, it will actually influence you to open up your mind, thinking that, oh, this is the phasing is on a premium, that is why it's commanding a higher price, so that you can actually relate better to your buyer out there. Okay. Next, the 4P will be known as your presentations. All right. What does presentation actually refers to? All right. It's actually to direct and engage your prospect, and then to lead them to your closing table. So we also see a lot of presenter, should I say a presenter, they really know how to present it, the project very well, but to the last stage itself, they fail to acknowledge to bring them to the closing table and then to ask for the offer or ask for the check. So it's very disappointed in that manner itself, because we notice that this is also very important factors if you want to stay part of the game, to be part of the BUC itself. You can be a very good presenter, but if you can't actually present solutions or get the check, there's no deal for you as well. So this is something that we have to organize our thoughts thoroughly. That's where we always organize the flow of your presentations in the show flats. So mainly when we always bring our buyers in, we will always start off with the location plan. If you realize something on the especially for the building under construction itself, the whole environment has done a very good goodwill, as in they formulate the location plan, they blow up so big that even you can't see properly, you are able to see very clearly on that as well. Hold on a second. Okay, second thing is we have a site plan which is available in the show flat as well, so we can make use of the site plans to your own benefits and deliver what you want to say to them. Okay, and then to the model, followed by the show suites, and last but not least, that is the most critical part, is to always ask them to the closing table. So the closing table, if you find quite challenging, to hold them through, we can always, shout out to our fellow taggers, out there, or the ICs who are on the show suites itself. Give them a hand signal or eye signal that you need help. They could help you to be your third party closer. All right, this is very important because it can be very stressful when you do not really answer the needs of the buyers. So with a little help from a third party like your ICs or your taggers out there, it could help you to seamlessly connect, and maybe you get your closing from there. All right, so you need to organize the thoughts and the flow of presentations in your show flats. That is very critical as well. Okay, the last P is known as your prospecting. All right, prospecting will never stop. Okay, how would you actually do your prospecting, and should I say, where do you find the leads? All right, so we can actually summarize whenever you are doing your new project itself. We start off with your friends or even your own database of an ex-employment. I'm sure that every one of you do not start off just being a realtor, and you probably has undertake some of your employments previously. So these are all the contacts that you can hold on to it, and then you can re-invite them, you know, to ask them about this project or next project that you're working on. And always there's this consumer seminar, you can always engage them as well. All right, start to feature in your various online platform. All right, as a realtor, as a so-called property consultant itself, we shouldn't be shy over this online platform. In my line, I always be suggesting to people, it's not really people who know you or who you know. So these are the two vice versa statement that we know. So we have to start somewhere so that people will get to know somehow or other, hey, you are actually in touch with this project. Perhaps you will get surprise feedback, you know, or calls. And then you can also run an online campaign. So when I say an online campaign itself, it's more like you can do your Instagram ad work, you can do your Facebook campaign, stuff like that. This is purely on an online campaign. Or you can just focus on your traditional media, which is your paper advertisement. So is paper advertisement still very useful, very subjective, and it could be on a different kind of media. It could be your 联合早报, it could be your Tamil papers as well. So this is one way to reach out for your cold leads as well. All right. Then, sorry. Okay, there's something more interesting where there's no cost involved or to start your business. You can start to build a business to get the result will be your next, I would say, is your WhatsApp business. All right, just to introduce this WhatsApp business, a lot of agents are going into that. They are featuring their resale units, their project that they are doing, and then in a very easy way that when people click on it, they are able to see what are you doing. All right, instead of you are very shy of going to the platform or the social media, so help yourself, reconnect yourself, and energize your business itself. You can actually build this profile WhatsApp. Okay, so I've also attached a link for you to understand where you can actually click on it to find out more. Okay, I myself also started off with this WhatsApp business, all right, with strong leaders trying to bring us together from the division itself. And then everyone started to do out of the norm, all right? So we create our WhatsApp business. So you can see that you can actually list down your projects that you're working on, and you can even put down the details, which is written here as well, you know. So you can also put in more pictures so that you can scroll and find like a catalogs page. Okay, but if you are not doing your WhatsApp business itself, do me a favor and do Orange Tea or yourself a favor. You can even download your EDM, which is very readily available in our Orange Tea apps. So what can you do with it? You can just save it, and you can change your WhatsApp profile to this EDM. So constantly you will stay relevant, stay in touch when your message, your profile went through to the other senders itself. You know, if they are curious, they find, they click, your e-pass is always there. All right. So this is the first thing that you can always do whenever you are doing a project. Download the EDM so that you can put inside your profile pic, so people are able to know. So it's like an indirect marketing. All right. By the way, this is actually non-Orange Tea default EDM. So I actually created my own as well. All right. So talking about the social media platform presence, all right, these are all made available. It's free registration, by the way, all right. So you can actually make full use of that. So are you one of them, making use of this platform to constantly blast the projects that you're marketing? And you never know, your friends start to observe and follow you, and eventually you will get a pop-up IM, hey, are you doing this? Or maybe they will PM you on a different to find out from you this project, how is it doing, when is it launched, stuff like that. So at least make your presence felt on this social media platform. Your fellow colleagues or peers will even know that, oh, you are actually a taggers or stuff like that. They'll start to engage you no matter what. All right. So with the blessing of Orange Tea, same time, I believe that they roll out a lot of so-called video to highlight to our people, how you can actually get your auto website, and very easily, very seamlessly that you can just create your website and become a master site of your resale listing as well. So the key feature previously when we all do this, still remember that websites are the most expensive tools that you need to get when technologies are not rolled out so rapidly yet. So, but now with technology, our tech prop itself, we are able to find all this very easy for us to use. But I'm sure some of you are still trying to access and trying to work with this, but do not procrastinate, and hopefully you can play with that. If you don't find that easy to use, you can always check back with your leaders and how to download this, stuff like that. All right. Key feature that I highlight down here is launch your website in 3 easy steps, and you are able to access unlimited number of websites. And the content is always updated. So there are many colors and templates for you to choose from this auto website as well. So I just highlight the circle for you to understand. And some of you may not be using the Orange Tea props so daily. So this is something just to refresh everyone. Okay, the EDM libraries. Again, this also enhance our doing our projects business. So you can actually click to save or share image, and there's also unlimited number of EDMs to select from. And I find that this is also a gateway connections to your clients as like an offer to invitations. When you send to them, it's like telling them, hey, I would like to invite you to this launch itself. Will you be available? Things like that. These are the things that you can actually kickstart. So how does the EDM actually works? When you look at it, so Orange Tea has done very precise. Your photos, your beautiful agent pic, your numbers, your CA numbers are all being crafted out in this EDM. So you can choose to save the image, it become a permanent on your library itself, and or you can even share the image where you can just click and share. You go to your WhatsApp, goes to your Facebook posting, stuff like that, or even your Telegram. So this is something that you all can explore with our EDM. All right. So the last part, just now when I mentioned about the closing table. So when you have the closing table as well, you must be financially very prepared about this. And are you able to relate in terms of the timeline to the customers or the clients that you are dealing with? And are you able to offer any solutions to that? So this is the key importance part also. And again, with the Orange T itself, it allows us, to click on the financial calculator to help our clients to understand the progress payment schedule. Later on, we can see that. And at the same time, we also help to cross-check whether the buyers are into which category. Some of your buyers, they might be of foreigners, they might be PR and they are citizens, or they are holding one or two properties or three properties that they are holding. So these are the simple calculations that you can actually put in the figures for them to let them see. And thirdly, the data are live and accurate. You can change the data where you don't need so much of the loan. You can just change the data, or they are on the second property itself. You can change the data as well. So you can access conveniently at all times. You don't need to be very desk bound to actually access to the financial calculator. All right. So this is something it looks like when you actually work with them on a new home progressive payment. Okay, I actually segment them print screen so that you can see at any stage where we are talking about. All right, you can key in the recipient's name, the property price they are looking at. So for this instantly, we are using a 1.2 million properties price. Okay, and then if they are on the rows of citizenships and the number of properties they are holding on, these are all the things that you can actually put in, slide through, stuff like that. Or the age of borrower, you can actually change them, and the tenure years, you are able to move around, all right? And eventually, it's the timeline that you need to highlight, and you must be equipped with the knowledge so that they can deliver what to expect for the buyers at any stages, what they are looking out for. So when you look at it on the summary report itself, it goes something like that, all right? So you have your attributes on the top portions, and then your payment structures is on the lower half. So this makes up to your financial calculation table for your clients to understand better. All right, having said so, I'm sure that we have scenarios such as when you serve the buyers, at the same time the buyers say that, oh, this development doesn't really works out well for me. All right, so normal the case, agents may not be able to comprehend what to move forward and what to ask the questions to be. So they may just say bye-bye to this buyer that walk out of the show flat. So by walking out of the show flats means chances that you will not get any connections back again. But if you are able to create solutions that help them along the way, chances that your buyer will stick true with you. Okay, let me just share with you what I'm talking about in terms of solutions. Okay, just like I mentioned, if let's say the same budget of 1.2, if they are quite tight and the development do not match that you're marketing, so what can you do? So you can actually make use of the eco prop that we have. We have full access to that. I'm sure some of you might be first time looking at this. Some of you may not even log in yet. All right. So if you are doing project, please log into this eco props itself, because data are almost instantly retrieved and is up to date, because the ICs also updated the SOAP unit so that you are able to relate the up-to-date information. So at the same time, when you have tight budget, just as I mentioned on a 1.2, and they are only looking at our 2 bedrooms, are you able to streamline the search? Yes, I would say so. And if you are talking about the filters, you can actually add on with the size or even the price. So once you click on that, on this example illustration, I'm actually making use of District 19 and 20 and for 1.2. All right, for us, I'm actually a Jetscape IC. So with 1.2 to get a 2 bedroom, right, in Jetscape, I'm sorry, we are not able to offer you any of the units there. So what can we do? You're letting your buyer off from the show flat? No, we'll do a search and a filter maybe we look up on the District 19. So where the same filter that we did up 1.2 million budget, all right, we are able to see the search result. We have riverfront residents, Infinity, and Florence that match your requirement. So what is the numbers that represent over there? So this is the numbers that highlight to you that it hit your criteria. So when you click on that, maybe I'll just take example of a riverfront residence. When you click on that, the price are highlighted very clearly to you. So, wow, even got high floor, you can just suggest to your buyer. But obviously, if they want to click on to see on the floor plans itself, you can actually click on the green box itself. You could actually go into the pages of the floor plans. So with the EcoProp, it also help us in our solution provider, which means at a instantly, if we don't close them on your buyers itself, after you have done the financial calculation, the due diligence check, and the units are not able to match, we are able to, do a comparison, alternative solutions for them. And instantly, you may get your next appointment to go and visit the show flats and then try to get this closed. All right. So I have probably come to the end of my sharing for this positive Monday. Hope that all this data that I share with you will be relevant and you could actually make use of that. All right. So if you have any question itself, you can always reach me at this number. And as mentioned, I'm actually the project IC for the Jadescape and Piedmont Grand, and also known as the tagger for the Copper Newton and Normanton Park, which is the upcoming launches. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in to this positive Monday.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Thanks for your sharing. Okay, if let's say you have any questions, you can always text Jason. Yeah. Okay. So thanks for tuning in to today's session. Thanks. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Have a great week ahead.